Okay, and then when we get to the Yuta fight, he's able to, still keep pace with Yuta.
Will you send that?
Page. Yeah, sure. I can show you when they're both running next to each other, and he's able to keep pace.
Why don't you just believe that they're slowing each other down to coordinate their attacks?
No, I feel like the situation doesn't really allow for them to slow down in this position because their time frame to attack is quite small. So, for instance,
what we're talking about,
in this page, Rika slammed him down. If they slow down, I don't know if we can assume that they still have enough time to slow down and still.
By slowing down, I don't mean that they're already in motion and then they lessen the pace. I mean, as soon as they start the pace, they're not going at full speed or applying their full acceleration, so they can coordinate what they're going to do next accordingly.
Well, we don't get any information on that. Nothing suggests that
and nothing suggests the opposite either.
Well, why would we assume that he's Yuta's intentionally slowing him down? For us to believe that he's slowing down, we first have to assume that.
When we're talking about that question, there's also no reason to assume the contrary, which is what you're trying to uphold currently.
No,
so
I'm trying.
The reason why before you finish, the reason why would make sense for him to slow down is to coordinate his attacks and actually.
Yes, I agree. You when you're coordinating attacks, you generally try to match the pace of your partner.
Yes, right? Yes.
I'm saying I don't think that there's any justification for them slowing down.
Wait, that's fine. I don't think there's justification for them not slowing down. Would you like to move on?
The instance we have is them moving at each other's pace. That's all I'm declaring.
Yes, I agree with that.
I don't think just because you would try to match your opponent's pace that they are then trying to slow down. It seems like a claim in.
I agree that necessarily due to the matchment of pace that entails that they're slowing down. I don't obviously believe that's necessary. However, within the situation, it would make sense for them to match the pace. And if Yuta is above them in speed, then he can slow down to match the pace. However, what you're doing currently is presupposing that there is no distinction in speed and there is no speed gap. When you say that we should not make an assumption, hold on, can I please finish? When you say that we should not make an assumption on my side, I would just say the same about your side.
No,
and assert that we shouldn't make an assumption about yours.
We have reason to believe that they're trying to be going as fast as they can. They don't
argument?
They don't have an extensive time frame. If you look on the right, we see Rika hit him down. Obviously, he's going to recover from that, or he's going to try to recover. So they
but why? Hold on. So when we're talking about the time frame, why do you believe that the pace in respect to the time frame?
I wasn't finished.
Yeah, that's fine. There was a lot of instances within this debate where I wasn't finished and you still cut me off, Valor.
Yeah, and then I continue to let you. Speak.
No, that's not true. Actually, you continue to speak, and I just continue to speak over you because you're not about to shut me up.
You're just gonna do this all debate.
I'm the one who suggested a moderator. You interjected me first, Valor. I'm just applying the same metric. Or we can get a moderator like I suggested.
Guys, listen. You guys are both beautiful high tiers. So, which one do you guys want to go first? Because let's have Valor.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the point that I made real quick. Why do you believe that the extensive time frame... Anyways, so why do you believe that the time frame that they have... Anyways, why do you believe the limited time frame that they have is something in which would determine whether or not Yuta slows his pace down to match Yuji's?
You're asking me what
in this situation specifically
in relation to that, how fast they're going?
No, I agree that the time frame would matter, but I'm asking why is the specific limiter on this time frame relevant to whether or not Yuta would pace or slow his pace down to match Yuta? To match Yuji's. If it is the case, that Yuji is fast enough to reach this time frame, and Yuta is faster than Yuta to coordinate, or Yuta is faster than Yuji, he can coordinate his attacks and slow down to match the pace, and it still would be it still would be successful in terms of matching the time frame.
I'm not understanding what you're saying. I have no idea what you just said.
Oh my god. Okay, you want to break it down?
You've got to explain this. Explain this to I'm like a retard, right? Because I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I can tell. That's fine. So when there's a time frame and there's a specific limiter, obviously there's going to be distinctions and limiters to time frame. So there could be a 5-second time frame, a 10-second time frame. If Yuji is quick enough to match the time frame before it ends, and then Yuta is massively faster than Yuji, hypothetically, although he is limiting his time or limiting his speed to match the pace of Yuji, since Yuji is still fast enough to reach the requirements of successfully attacking Sukuna before he gets up, Yuta is still capable of limiting his speed and then successfully finishing the goal, basically.
You explained exactly the same way.
I literally just put it in retard terms.
No, you explained it exactly the same way.
Oh my god. BB, can you explain my point since the dude doesn't understand basic English? BB, are you there?
You gotta translate for me. I don't know what he's saying.
So he basically said when you put the whippersnappers in the below some, you know what I'm saying?
What?
BB, are you gonna troll or actually explain my point? If not, then I'll put it in even more retarded
This
terms.
is why, like, I didn't want to like debate you.
Did you think I'm not listening, bro? You
Okay, so
expanded
who
again.
was listening that can explain the point real quick?
Explain the point, you weirdo.
Okay, look, listen,
talking,
Valor.
like,
Okay,
not- like,
so
can you not
let's go
explain-
step by step. Let's go step by step. We agree there's a time frame, right? There's a limited time
Yes.
frame, correct? Okay, now
Yes.
let's say hypothetically, Yuji is fast enough to successfully attack Sukuna before he gets up and reach the requirements of landing an attack before the time frame is up. You're following so far, right?
Yes, he fits. You're saying he fits in the time.
No. Let's say hypothetically, you're following so far, correct?
Well, I don't really care for like hypothetical.
Wait, that's fine. You don't have to care. What you're doing is presupposing that the hypothetical in which Yuji is slower at a max pace, you're presupposing that this hypothetical isn't something that exists. That's the point of contention. Whether or not,
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Oh my god, the point of contention is whether or not your point is true, whether or not that they are true, whether or not they have to go full speed to reach the requirements.
You're not doing it down enough. I can't understand what you're saying.
I did, classical. I don't know why you're dick riding, but yeah, Valor, to dumb it down, what you're doing is presupposing, or in other words, assuming that Yuji and Yuta are not fast enough while even holding back. Like, let's say Yuji's going full speed and then Yuta is holding back to match Yuji's full speed. You're presupposing that Yuji's full speed is not fast enough to reach the requirements of the time frame.
Why would we
and Yuta holding back?
Yuji is the one holding back? Why would we?
That's not what I said. I said if Yuji's full speed reached the requirements of ending the time frame or attacking Sukuna before the time frame, and Yuta is holding back to coordinate his attack with Yuji to reach the most efficient conclusion, what you're doing is presupposing that Yuji's full speed, while Yuta, there's a gap in between speed and Yuta, you're presupposing that there is no gap in that Yuta's full speed is something that doesn't bypass the time frame.
Argument a function though, does that not also then presuppose that like, you know, Yuta's the one holding back and not Yuji? Like it can work both ways.
Wait, repeat yourself?
Doesn't feel like an argument. Like
I agree. Wait. What you just said was it can. I agree it can, but the point of contention is whether or not your point is true. You're the one who asserted this earlier. I'm asking why. I'm asking why Yuji is. I'm asking why Yuta's not holding back to coordinate his attacks.
You asked me like a question, right? So I was just gonna.
Yes, and I was going to finish elaboration.
And then you start like rambling on. Okay, so, like,
it's not ramble. I just have to.
I'm not like presupposing like anything. I'm literally.
Well, obviously, if you make the claim that you're not presupposing anything, that doesn't mean that you're anything. The fuck?
What?
You're obviously presupposing
all I'm doing is literally like looking at the page.
Oh wow, you're describing.
You're the one like inspiring.
Yes. Your description is your interpretation of the panel, which I interpret differently. You're presupposing that there is no massive distinction between Yuta and Yuji's speed and clarifying something because you don't know.
You're just gonna like cut me off every 0.2 seconds. Like I can't have a debate with you if you're just gonna cut me off 0.2 seconds.
I don't cut you off every 0.2 seconds. I cut you off more than 5 seconds.
It's literally like, how am I supposed to argue with you? I can't even finish.
Guys,
I literally just let you finish. Just give your argument, my nigga. I had to break down what word did I use.
I understand you. Like, I don't understand what's happening, right? Obviously, it's my interpretation.
I agree that that's
pretty. It's pretty like it's a pretty consistent one. With like, I don't think anyone's gonna disagree.
Okay, obviously you believe it's consistent. I'm asking why it's consistent. And when you say nobody's gonna disagree, I'm disagreeing. So notice how I let you finish and then you cut me off as soon as you feel as if I say something wrong. That's why I'm applying the same metric to you. So anyways, I agree. I didn't ask the question. By the way. Anyways, so I agree. The process is read the panel incorrectly. You give a retarded interpretation, and then you let. Anyways, and then you. Why do you feel the need to cut me off? But you get mad when I cut you off. BB, do you see this? Can you moderate? BB, can you please moderate? BB, can you please moderate? He's being hypocritical as fuck. Notice how nobody in chat comments on how he interjects me.
So guys, I low-key accidentally server-reviewed myself. You guys did not see that shit, by the way. So would you guys like a moderator, the both of you? Because you guys, I think you guys are both like accidentally overtalk or purposely. I don't know what it is. Yo, I don't know who server deafened him. So would you guys like me to be a moderator?
We already agreed to a moderator in chat and Skype via chat.
My bad.
Said, you can moderate.
Okay. So go ahead.
Okay, so can I please finish what I was saying? Okay, yes, I agree, and we both agree that the shared process is that we read the series, we interpret the series or panel by panel, and then we relay our interpretation to the opponent. I'm asking you, one, interpretation is something that I should be convinced by or why we should have said, and then you keep on saying, well, there's no reason as to why we should have stepped yours. You're the one saying this is the case. All I'm doing is giving some valid contention towards the points. I'm asking you whether or not your interpretation is either likely, consistent, or is true. You have yet to give an argument as to why it's true. You're just making random presuppositions that nobody smart would agree with.
Okay, I don't really care what you think smart people even are, so I don't really
Obviously
care
isn't
about that.
true.
All I'm saying, okay, why'd you cut me off again? So all I'm saying is that literally, like you're asking, okay, well, how do you justify my interpretation? And the only response I can give is obviously we see it on the page because that's all I'm describing is literally what I'm visually seeing with my eyeballs. I see Rika hit him into the ground. I see Yuta and Yuji running next to each other. So therefore, I'm saying based on this, we can see that Yuji's able to keep pace with Yuta. That's what I said initially. That's what I've been saying. You're trying to then interject and say, okay, well, why are we presupposing that one's holding back? We're not holding back. But the question that's in and of itself feels like a claim. Like I'm not presupposing like anything. I'm just describing the page to you, and then you're like, okay, you're now trying to make the argument that one of them is holding back by nature of like asking to that I'm kind of presupposing this when I didn't argue that initially. I didn't say they are both going at full power, at full speed. You're trying to say, okay, well, maybe Yuta's holding back and Yuji's running at full speed in order to like coordinate. I never like introduced that argument. You introduced that argument. So all I'm sitting here doing is like describing, and you're inserting this argument. So I'm just asking you, okay, well, how are you proving one's holding back or the other's holding back? Like you can't really do that. That's why I just refer to the page. I'm not inserting anything.
Okay, so that was a question bag of hell. Clicksu's assessment was correct. All you did was assume that your conclusion is true. Secondly, claims are propositional. Questions aren't claims. A question, which is the following: can you do the dishes or will you do the dishes, does not have a true value. The answer can have a true value. If you answer with the following answer, yes, then you doing the dishes can be true or false, or whether or not you will do the dishes can be true or false. But claims are propositional, not questionary. What I did was ask a question, which is the following: do you believe and do you have justification that Yuta isn't holding back here? That was the question on the table. Just because you failed to answer it doesn't mean it's a fucking argument. I don't need to justify the fact that Yuta was holding back. That's not a presupposition I made. Questions usually don't have presuppositions that are propositional, retard. The fuck? Anyways, in response to the other, yes, so BB,
why you slugging on me? Can you ask me in DM? Can you ask me in DM?
Isn't it funny how I was muted instantly, but BB doesn't mute this dude? Thank you, BB. Finally.
All right, shut up, man.
So to finish, how we justify characters, like for example, Yuta holding back, is off of one statements, or two, we can compare performances. Let's say Yuta goes relative with 15-finger Sukuna, but we see Yuta is losing the 3-finger Sukuna in the panel prior or the panel post this panel. Obviously, we can infer that he is likely holding back due to the performances there. So there's two methods I just gave you to derive conclusions of characters holding back. We can see that Yuji and Maki fighting 15-finger Megana. Maki assesses herself that she was holding back, and then she asks Yuji if she can go all out to see if Yuji can keep up. And then Yuji does not mind her going all out. So what does she do? She goes all out. Do you see how there's narrative confirmation about a character holding back and not holding back? Yes. So I agree, and everybody in VC agrees, because we're not retarded like you, Valor, that you can read the panels and assess what is going on. Yay, you can do that. You're not a toddler. But whether or not your assessment actually holds to what's going on is different. We can see panel to panel that they're keeping pace, but we cannot see what's internally going on. Something internal would be the mental state of Yuta. It is not confirmed whether or not Yuta is thinking of X, which is, should I hold back so I can match the pace of Yuji and coordinate attacks? That is a presupposition that you're making. You're making a presupposition that he is not thinking that. What is the argument, dumbass?
Bro, I didn't understand like a word you said. You've got to speak clearer for me. I don't understand.
Yo, please tell me, Itachi or Manny or Milky. Am I speaking jargon or something?
I'm not in the same.
Is this not comprehensible, my nigga?
I'm not tracking like anything.
Trace, am I speaking jargon or something? This nigga's actually pissing me off.
You gotta speak.
Someone
okay, why are you being
I'm not. I'm trying to speak to the moderator real quick.
You've got to calm down.
Guys, relax.
Can I please speak to you real quick?
You've got to calm down. Relax.
Yeah, I promise I will. But can I speak to the moderator real quick, not to the debater?
Talk.
Yeah, so, BB, is it okay for me to confirm whether or not I'm speaking jargon? I want to see if the people in VC also understand what I'm saying, or if it's just due to my opponent's lack of brain cells. So Trix or Itachi, am I being retarded and speaking jargon, or is it obviously just this nigga not understanding basic
you just
shit?
asked me. You just asked me
Yeah,
a question
I
and then
actually
answer
confirm
yourself.
whether or not I can talk to the VC, but obviously I'm going to answer myself with infinity.
Yeah.
Okay, Itachi understands. Okay, go ahead.
So can you just like, we know you're a genius and everything. Can you please like rephrase it in like a lighter manner?
Yeah, I got you. So one,
All right, thank you.
You are question begging. A question beg is when you assume your conclusion when you're trying to justify the conclusion. So your premises and infer the conclusion in which they are matching pace, therefore there's relativity, is assumed in the conclusion and primacy. What the point of contention is whether or not Utah, I'm not done, whether or not Utah is going all out. Secondly, we all agree that we assess what's going on in the panel and then we infer whether or not something is the case. But something we also agree with, hopefully, because you're obviously not axiomatic. Everything you say is not true. Like, for example, you said I was espousing jargon, but that's not true. We obviously can be wrong with our interpretation, like you are when you read the series and you get Awakened Yuji above Maki. So I'm asking you, I agree, we can see empirically what's going on in the panels, but if they don't demonstrate what the character is going through mentally or their thought process during the battle, we cannot see that. So we have to make abductions or inductions as to what the character is thinking. Do you understand that so far?
The problem is...
I wasn't done. Did you understand that so far? I'm breaking out each point. Did you understand that so far?
I want to talk about that point now.
Wait, that's fine, and I want you to lose the debate. Does that make it happen?
You've been like, okay, why are you being so toxic though?
I'm not being toxic. I'm not there yet.
Infinity, are you
like I said,
a little bit.
Baby, did I not say? Hold on. Did you not tell me to break down my points while I'm doing it? I'm asking for clarification on whether or not he's understanding, so I can go point by point.
Like you said in DM, like, not to Spug, so why are you being so toxic for?
Yeah, because you started off spurging, my nigga, and I'm not toxic.
Oh my gosh,
I may have blocked you. Like, if you don't want to debate, that's fine.
We are debating.
So guys,
you're being extremely like uncharitable and like extremely toxic.
Yes, obviously, I'm not going to be charitable.
Oh my gosh, bro. So can you finish explaining Infinity, and then Valor will counter you? Okay, this is how we're gonna do it now. Also, I'm sorry to meet you guys both.
Hold on, BB. Okay, like this nigga just asked me flabbergasted. What the fuck? Am I not being charitable? I'm literally explaining point by point, and then I'm stopping to make sure he understands the point, and then he gets mad when I continue finishing my point of clarification. So, BB, is that not reasonable?
I just wanted to talk about that one point.
Okay, we can talk about it after, Valor. I agree you want to talk about it, and I want you to lose.
So, I'm not going to be a moderator. Listen.
Okay, moderator. Fine. I'll be charitable towards. Look. I'll be charitable towards the bucket hats. Go ahead. Continue the point.
What? Okay, the point you're trying to argue that, like, okay, well, Yuta could be holding back, right? That's your argument, right? Or that point specifically.
Sure.
Okay. The problem is, I was saying that the same could be true of like Yuji. So how are we like determining anything from the page?
Can I answer that?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so one, we can make abductions. We can say that Yuta consistently holds back when he's fighting with someone. Therefore, within the situation, he is likely holding back, and the best explanatory power is him holding back. We can make inductions and abductively valid arguments. Secondly, whether or not it is possible on both sides does not infer your conclusion. You're the one who affirmed that there is relativity with a full power Yuji and a full power Yuta within this situation. When I ask you why, you're saying that there's no reason as to why we should assume that one of them is holding back. Now, I don't care about there being a lack of reason to you. There's obviously a lack of reason to me as to why they're going relative while both of them is at full speed. So when you're talking about equal interpretations, that doesn't help you since you're on the affirmative, my nigga.
Okay, well, my argument is that we see on the page these two running, right, and they're next to each other when they're running. That's all I said. I don't know why you're getting this argument like oh, they're like exactly the same speed. I was just saying, like, okay, well, we see them on the page running next to each other, right? Mm-hmm. So from that, okay, like we've been talking about, we can derive that there's probably like a similar speed, right? Then you ask me, okay, justify that. So how do we talk about, like, how do we justify that, like, they're on a similar speed? Is that's what you're trying to seek, right? How do we justify that they're a similar speed?
Yeah, so the original proposition you laid out was that there is relativity between Yuji and Yuta. What I granted was that they did match pace within this situation specifically. What I don't grant is what you said initially, which was the following. There is relative speeds between these two. Now, there is multiple ways you can go about justifying this, and even if you fail and can use these methods, that is not my problem. You should have never asserted this dumbass claim, which is that Yuta and Yuta are relative.
When I say relative, like, What I literally meant was that they're matching pace on like the page. That's like, is it not similar language? Is it not like
No.
I
Matching
don't
pace is not
understand.
until yeah,
If
matching
you're
pace is
matching
not
pace,
until
that's not relativity. Like, excuse me,
no.
for
Before
that
we get to that,
instance.
okay, matching pace is not until relativity. Generally speaking, you tried to use this to say that they perform relative, therefore that he should be comparable to Yuji in speed overall, or Yuta in speed overall. But
And this
also
is
to
our
answer your question, no. Hold on. To answer your question, we can argue about this if you want. No, matching pace within the situation does not entail general relativity. No.
okay, and this is our example, right? So what? How
This
are
is
we
your
supposed to drive any character speed? Because I'm still not following your argument. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I've already answered this question multiple times. How we derive a character speed, by the way, this is another question. I was talking about the original question, which was how do we determine whether or not a character is going all out? Like I said, you can make inductions or objectively valid
That
arguments.
wasn't what I
You can
said.
go off of deductions, which is statements, or hold on, you can go off of deductions from statements or feats. And then to answer your new question, which is how do we know whether or not a character is going full speed? We can apply the same methods as the last question. What the fuck?
Okay, so you want to know why like Yuta would be going all out then?
Yes, please.
Okay, does the situation not call for it? Does the situation, like, of literally them fighting the strongest sorcerer in history, who's trying to kill all of them and all of their friends, not demand that Yuta be going all out? Does the fact he opened a
Can I answer?
domain expansion not entail these things? Like,
Okay,
I
wait,
really
let
think,
me.
I really think Yuta's holding back, right? I really think
That's
Yuta,
not.
this
That's not the
guy
point.
who's trying to defend all. Hang on, I'm still talking. The guy who's trying to defend all of his friends, like, and Yuji, who hates Sukuna more than anything else, would not be trying to go as fast as they can to kill this guy. They're
So just
perfectly okay with 1v1ing him. Like, Yuta was trying to 1v1 him 2 minutes ago. Yuji was trying to always trying to fight him. He doesn't care who's there. He's always trying to fight him.
oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Now,
I think the
now you just ran.
situation is indicative of them going all out. I think it's kind of like strange that you would claim otherwise.
Okay. Your data set represents a reason as to why Yuta would generally be going all out, meaning he's going all out in the overall battle. But when it comes to whether or not he's coordinating with Yuji, it would make much more sense for him to hold back hypothetically if he is massively faster than Yuji. Because if you were to blitz a level above Yuji and Yuji's behind him, then Sukuna does not have to worry about two people. His attention span for that split second can be focused on Yuta, which would make it much easier for Yuta to be blocked or dodged. While if Yuji and Yuta rush at the same pace in front of Sukuna, his attention span would be divided. It's called divided attention. Now, I agree that Yuta, generally speaking, is going all out. However, when it comes to instance, because everybody in BC can vouch that I did say specific instance in this specific situation, when it comes to instance, he does not have to be going all out at every single point in time, because there's times where going all out would not be the more sufficient reason as to.
Okay, so now you have to justify then why is he holding back in this instance? If you agree he's generally going all out, yes, you do. If you agree he's generally going all out, we have to find out a reason as to why he would be holding back here. You're like, okay, well, he has to try and match Yuji's pace. That then like presupposes that he has to match Yuji's pace. Does that not entail that Yuji is slowing down or he's slowing down? Or that he's faster than Yuji? Do you not have to prove that?
Okay, so just to be clear, to answer your question, no, I don't have to prove that, because you're the one that asserted that there is relativity here and that Yuta is going all out. I'm agreeing that Yuta, when it comes to 1v1 situations, has a reason to go all out. I do not agree, however, that when it comes to 2v1 situations, he has the reason to go all out. I just gave an instance in why it would be much better for him to coordinate his attacks with his dual partner instead of rushing ahead in front of Yuji, who he's hypothetically massively faster than. So what you're doing is presupposing that Yuta is not massively faster than Yuji, and then asking me the question, well, what's the justification? Although you're on the affirmative, I just gave a reason as to why you would need to explain how your point goes through. I'm just giving an interpretation which has a basis. I gave the basis, which was the following. Within the situation, if he rushes ahead, then Sukuna's attention would not be divided, or doesn't have to be divided, so he can put more focus onto his opponent who's in front of him and dodge him easier or block him easier.
Like, are you taking like a skeptic position? It seems.
Wow.
If you're just like going off the possibility that he's holding back, then like you have to justify this. Like, just having a possibility.
Yes, the basis is the possibility and why. Hold on. The basis is the
hang on.
You asked me.
I was talking, you fucking monk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yo, baby, there's no. This nigga asked me. No, there's no way.
Okay, you can ask a question and then elaborate on the question.
Wait, no, he wasn't elaborating. Dumbass. Come on, to another point. But let me answer the question.
If he moves it on, just
I'm not trying to be toxic. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying not to spark. I'm not that person anymore. I don't want to be like that. Okay. So when you agree then that if you're making like an appeal to like possibility, I don't really particularly care about like what's possible. I don't really care about like, oh well, he could be holding back. Even if you want to give this like argument of like, oh yeah, well, a reason he could be holding back is because he wants to match his partner's pace. But that presupposes that again, like Yuji isn't fast enough to like match him at full pace, or that like Yuta's massively faster. The same argument can be applied to Yuji. What's possible? Yuji's slowing down to match Yuta's pace. It doesn't really matter. It's like a non-argument to me. What I want is a consistent argument based upon like observations, evidence, these kind of things that lead us to this conclusion. I don't particularly care about possibilities. I've given an argument with evidence, right? I've looked at this page. I see them matching pace. I'm like, okay, well, Yuji's here to match pace. We need a reason to assert that like Yuta would be holding back. You giving them like the reason, oh, well, they want to do a combination attack, doesn't entail that he's holding back because they can do a combination attack at full power. That doesn't matter. And you've already agreed that they're generally going all out. So I need an argument with evidence that he is in fact holding back.
Yo, like, why is this nigga's tone? Yo, this nigga's tone is so inconsistent. He did that sounds like a bitch. But one, let me educate you on what appeal to possibility is. Please mute him, BB, because I was muted instantly. But for some reason, you give him so much charity. He's still unmuted currently while I'm still talking. Isn't it crazy? Thank you. Finally, BB.
Now, since I love you, but he didn't.
So, to educate everybody in VC real quick, because Valor doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He watched the one T-Jump debate and thought he was good. Appeal to possibility is when you say that due to something being possible, the conclusion is inferred that the proposition follows within reality. That is not what I'm doing here. I'm using not just a possibility, but also reasonability as a basis towards my skepticism for this point. And then me granting the fact that in a 1v1 situation, they are going all out does not actually hold to the fact that within a dual situation, when it's a 2v2 or 2v1, they're going all out. That data set does not represent the conclusion that you're trying to bring from my agreement. I agree that within a 1v1 situation, the attention is obviously going to be focused on the opponent, so there's no reason for them to hold back if they're already going to have attention focused on them. However, within a situation in which there's a 2v1, it makes sense for them to coordinate and match pace, because if he rushes ahead, then the attention will be fucking divided, idiots. Or if he rushes ahead, the attention will be undivided. It will be focused on one person because he's massively faster than the other person, retard. So he can easily block the attack that's coming forth, or he can dodge the attack that's going forth. But if there's 2 or 3 or 4 people, it's going to be much harder to block or attack the attacks that are coming forth. This is basic fucking shit, my nigga. What the fuck? Don't you read Demon Slayer? They explain this in your own fucking series, dumbass. This nigga's making me mad. I don't give a fuck about what you want, nigga. You can want a consistent argument, nigga. I want a big booty Latina by my side, you stupid bitch. Does that make it true? No, nigga. I don't need a consistent argument. You made the claim, which is the following. They went relative within the situation. I'm asking you why within the situation was Yuta holding back? Because from this relativity, you're saying that they are performatively and generally relative. So, do you have an argument? Yes or no? You can answer that question when I'm done. Hold on.
Okay, and finish.
I'm not done, BB. I just said he can answer the question when I'm done. Hold on.
Why'd you stop talking?
The reason why I stopped is because I'm looking for a panel. That's why, obviously.
You just talked like 30 fucking minutes.
That's fine. If you talk longer than me,
let's just relax. Let's just relax.
That's crazy. Half of it was
I'm not the one that's muted. So you can
chill. I didn't do that. I did not do that.
Yeah, so this is exactly why I wanted you to strip everybody. I don't understand why these niggas are abusing. But like I said, Valor can go on mute like a good boy. Like I was muted when he was speaking. Anyways.
Yeah. It's still being toxic. Like what?
It's not toxic. I'm not theoretical. But anyways.
Toxic. Like,
oh no.
I'm trying to be nice.
With me. Hey, everybody, when you say nah, that makes your point true. Like obviously you believe that, my nigga. You just said nah. The fuck? Nah to your point. Your point isn't the case. Nah, nigga. Anyways, like I said, for my basis towards skepticism currently, I'm using a possibility and reasonability. I gave reasonability towards why the conclusion would be inferred, and the possibility I gave is something that holds. Whether or not you care about possibilities is distinct. It's epistemically and logically possible. There is no contradiction, my nigga. If you don't accept the possibility, I don't care. You being able to apply the possibility that Yuji's massively faster than Yuta, but Yuji is holding back to coordinate his attacks, does nothing for you. I agree that you can utter these possibilities, but you're on the affirmative. You're saying it's either 1, likely, or 2, it is the case that your conclusion follows and is true. I'm asking you why it's likely or is true. When you give an interpretation that is simply possible, that is not infer the conclusion that your side is true or fucking likely, retard. That is called a non sequitur. Since you don't know basic fallacies, do I have to explain to you what that is too? Retard.
Okay. Again, he's being extremely like fucking like uncourteous. Like I'm trying to be nice. I don't know why he's being like he's tweaking out so hard. He's literally crashing out. So like half of his like argument just then was just him crashing out. So I'm trying to sort out what he said, right? So he's talking about it's hard to follow because half of it is literally him crashing out. You're trying to like say that like, okay, well you gave like a possibility and then like gave reason behind it, right? Obviously, when I make my argument, I'm just saying like, okay, it's likely. I'm really ever going to claim that like this is objectively true. I don't think anyone really is. So when I give my claim, I'm just saying, okay, well, it's likely drawn off this, right? Your argument that's like, because one charges ahead, if one's faster and he charges ahead, then he's gonna get like focused down, right? It's gonna get like all of Skunner's attention like put on him, and then he's gonna get like one tapped, whatever. My argument was obviously that okay, we're still like again presupposing that one's faster than the other, like for your argument to function, because they can both run at full speed and also be at, running at the same pace as each other. Just because like they run at the same
one
pace.
infinity, boo.
Okay, I lost my train
Don't
of
do
thought.
that again. Do not do
I
that
actually
again.
lost my train of thought. Fuck.
Good job, Forza.
You
Good job.
actually fucked me so bad. I actually can't. You have to give me a second. Okay. So your argument is that he's running ahead. Like I said, they can be running at the same pace. It doesn't matter. They can still go like full power and run at the same pace. This isn't like some kind of strange mutual exclusivity. Your argument is that you gave a possibility and then tried to give like a reason behind it. I already talked about, okay, well, possibility by itself doesn't mean anything because we need likelihood attached to it. Like we need the argument attached to it to make it like more likely than other possibilities. And then your reasoning was that, okay, well, if one charges ahead, then he's going to get focused down. But then this, again, presupposes that one is faster than the other for them to charge ahead. I've given my you've already agreed that generally they're running, are they going all out? I've given already an argument previously that the situation calls for them to be going all out. And we've seen Yuta already try to 1v1 Sakuna.
Wait, before you finish, hey, BB, can you ban Gyro? I already told you I'm not debating if Gyro's in here. Please ban Gyro and Vortex. My bad for interjecting.
No, don't ban Gyro.
I already said I'm not debating if they're in here. That was my conditions. I already said.
Don't ban him. What's the reason to ban him?
Or you can time him. He's a dick rider. And yeah, he doxed me too. I don't want my doxers in here. That shit is weird.
He doxed you?
Like,
He's doxed
yeah,
you?
he did. Yeah, he did. Like, I don't know why Valor wants doxers in here, but I don't want him.
I don't.
Okay, then why did you just tell me? So why did you just tell me to keep
Okay,
him in here when they
can I
doxed me?
time him out for 60 seconds?
No, time them out. Time them out for an hour, please. And like I said, I apologize for interjecting you, Valor.
Chat saying they didn't. He did.
Wow. The doxers are denying their crime. Okay. Anyways, please time them out. I don't want these people in here.
I'm just asking for a reason.
Yeah, I just gave you the reasoning. They doxed me. I don't want my doxers in here.
He's timed out.
I don't care about justifying it for you, but thank you.
He's timed out.
I apologize.
I think that everyone should be treated equally, you know?
Hey, you said what? I didn't hear you.
I was just saying, I think we should treat everyone equally.
What? So we should treat Gias' rapist brother equal? What? Anyways.
No, I just think we should be nice to everyone, you know? Try not to be toxic. Anyway, talking about charging ahead. Fuck. Everyone keeps interrupting. I'm losing my train of thought again.
No more interrupting. Interrupt again, I will get mad.
So if he charges it, like we agree, if he charges ahead, you think he's gonna get like one tap body, whatever. We already talked about him going all out. We already talked about what was your other point? Because you fucking crashed out, and I can't remember what the last point was. What did you say last?
In translation, you can't track, so you're blaming it on me crashing out. But no, there was no crash out. I'll answer that question when it's my turn to speak.
Well, I can't really continue because I don't know what you were arguing. Because half.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, please mute him so I can give my arguments against what he said, BB.
Can you please, for the better of the dialectic, just explain?
I'm going to repeat the argument, but maybe I'm going to repeat the argument. But like I said, I'm not going to answer any question. Hold on. So, BB, the same as when he asked the question, when I tried to answer, you told me to wait till it's my turn to speak. I'm going to do the same when it's my turn. I don't care about the biases that you're trying to propose. But like I said, can you please mute him so I can get my point?
This is bias, Miss. We're just
That's
answering.
fine. Can you
Like-
please mute him? Because when I tried to answer his question, I wasn't being
Answer
instant.
and
Anyways, yeah. So in response to what he said, I'm not saying that he is concrete on this position because I know he can't defend anything that he says. But when you're talking about objectivity, yes, you can determine objectivity when it comes to franchises or series. For example, I can objectively determine whether or not a character has a set of properties. I can do that empirically or a priori. That's completely fine. And then another thing that you said with the presupposition, yes, I agree. The hypothetical has a presupposition, but it's purely a hypothetical. I'm not saying the hypothetical corresponds with the series or is true. I'm just saying that this is something that is reasonable and is possible. The same as you can say that the other side is possible, but guess what? You have yet to demonstrate why it will be reasonable. So although I do believe my possibility is even likely because we see Maki and Yuji do it within the series, I do believe it is likely. I don't even need to assert likelihood because I'm not the one affirming anything. Just because you don't care about possibilities due to the lack of likelihood doesn't mean we shouldn't accept the possibilities. I agree that hypothetically, if I do not grant that there is some type of situation in which this happened before within the series, or there is no data set that it is unlikely or not unlikely, it is not likely to occur. But your side is also not likely to occur because you have no external evidence besides how you interpret the panel that we're using as the point of contention. That is the entire point. You cannot refer to the point to justify the points. That's called question begging. Also, get off my dick, Zeppy X, whatever the fuck you are. Anyways.
Okay,
I'm not
so
saying that I wasn't done, baby. I'm not saying that he would get one tapped if he rushes ahead. I'm saying that it would be much easier to battle one person than battle two people at once, because obviously that one person would have additional strength, which is the person at aid, while if there's one person, they wouldn't have any additional strength, which is the other entity, and which would help them hypothetically in a 2v1. Yes, this is most of the times the case. A 2v1 is harder than a 1v1. I don't know why you're fucking riding. Like, what the fuck? You can't track for shit. So, do you have likelihood for your point? Yes or no? Just because I don't have likelihood, even though I do, by the way, which is the instance I gave, I have one consistent instant or two consistent instances, which creates a data set that represents the population to us. I do have likelihood, and fuck lightning jacks, by the way, nobody's writing. I do have likelihood, but even if I didn't, that does not mean you won. You're on the affirmative. You have to justify likelihood or that your point is the case.
Okay, so your argument is like that. So you're fuck. So you're using the Maki instance to give likelihood to your argument, even though you're already like half agreeing that you don't have a likelihood, but then you're giving this data set of Maki and Yuji, right? In that instance, we also see Yuji keep up with Maki after that point when she says, "Can I speed up?" And he says, "Sure," and then he goes on to keep up with her. We see that in that instance where she says, "Can I speed up?" and Yuji continues to keep up with her, implying that if she is possibly using her full power, there it's not stated verbatim. We don't really know if she is or isn't. It doesn't really matter. But he continues to keep up there. In that instance, they are actually like giving a differential of speed, and there was a reason for her to withhold her speed because she was trying to figure some things out. She comes to Yuji. She's like, "Okay, well, let's move faster," and Yuji's like, "Sure," and then they go on faster. And in that instance, there's a clear instance where she explicitly says, "Okay, can we, increase our speed from what we were going?" Here, there's no reason for them either of them to be holding back because of the situation. We've already talked about the situation, how there's, like I said, a really short time frame where we can knock him down and he's kind of stunned, which means that they have to move at a certain pace to keep within that time frame. Now, obviously, like Yuda could be potentially holding back and still be in that time frame, but so could Yuji. Yuji could also potentially be holding back and stay in that time frame. The problem is we don't really have a reason to hold back in that time frame when, like I've already talked about, the situation is so dire, and you've already agreed that generally they should be going all out. Your problem is with this specific instance. Obviously, when we look at, you talked about, oh, it's my interpretation based off of like the page. Well, that's how we interpret every fucking piece of evidence. We look at the evidence and then interpret it and give conclusions off of that. I don't understand why you have such a problem with me looking at a page and then saying, okay, this is what's happening on the page. You're trying to it seems like you're trying to distance the page as if it's not evidence for what I'm talking about. Like I say, okay, well, they're moving relative, and then I give you a page where they're moving at the same pace. Like, okay, well, that's relative. And then you give this possibility argument, which doesn't really work. And then you give this instance to try and back it up. And that also doesn't really work, because in that instance, we see these characters speed up after clarifying that they were holding back. If they're not clarifying this, I don't know why we'd assume they are. And even within your argument, we can just assume the opposite. That like Yuji was holding back, or that they weren't holding back, or that they were, like you trying to argue. I don't see any like way you can justify this argument correctly. We've also been like on this point for a while now, and I'd rather like to progress.
Me. Anyways,
Okay,
I agree that you were like, so BB, can you please mute him while I'm speaking? I don't understand why he feels the need to interject. Why does he feel the need to interject? Anyways, I'm going to respond to the points. I don't care if he leaves because he understands he's getting slammed. So one, hold on, no, I'm still going to respond to the points. He's not about to leave, so he can act like the reason why he got slammed is because he left. So in response to the first point that you so I agree you can read panel by panel, then come up with an interpretation. But I do not agree, and I am not fine with you asserting that that interpretation is true without providing evidence, but instead assuming that your interpretation is true in the first place. I want external evidence or some type of likelihood for your conclusion being true. I think everybody wants that. I want to be convinced. Yes, I want your point to be true. I hope you're not writing. I hope you believe in your points. I want arguments as to why your point is true, my nigga. Basic shit. Anyways, I never said that one instance. By the way, I never said that I don't have likelihood or my possibility wasn't likely. I said even if it wasn't likelihood, and if I grant that I don't have a data set, even though I do have a data set, that point would not contend whether or not your point is true. Even if my possibility does not go through, that does not mean your point is true at all. I agree. You could say that Yuji's holding back, that they're relative in speed, that Yuta is massively faster, but he's holding back. But which one is the case? You're asserting that it is the case that Yuta is holding back, but they're still performing. You're asserting that it is the case that they're both going full speed and they're performing relative beats and that they're going relative. I'm asking why is Yuta at full speed? And I gave reasonability as to why he wouldn't go full speed. All you did and all I agreed to is grant the fact that within a 1v1, Yuta would go full power and full speed because the attention is already undivided. However, in a situation where it's the 2v1, the attention being divided would help the opponents which is Yuji and Yuta. It would make much more sense for them to go in at once so Sukuna's attention can be divided instead of them attacking individually, so it can be much easier for Sukuna to dodge, react, and come up with a plan against dealing with their attacks or offensive measures. This is basic shit, my nigga. The time frame isn't relevant to whether or not Yuji is able to keep up with it. What you're doing by using the time frame as some type of situation as to why they will both be going full speed is presupposing that Yuji's full speed is not enough to reach the requirements of successfully ending Sukuna or landing an attack with Sukuna before the time frame ends. Instead, if Yuta assesses that Yuji's speed is capable of reaching those requirements, he can hold back so they can reach the requirements together and then coordinate an attack to end them. Basic shit. I don't care about you pinging me Fawaz or whatever the fuck your name is, saying that I'm yapping, my nigga. You wouldn't mic up and debate me, bitch. The fuck? Anyways.
Yo, Fawaz.
And then when you say, hold on, and when you say they continue going relative after Maki says, can we speed things up? Maki was holding back. By the way, there was a limitation in space, meaning that she couldn't attack in every single way.
Salam alaikum, nigga.
Yes, okay, you please mute him while I'm speaking. He can mic up after, or he can be unmuted after, and we can debate real quick. But anyways, so there was no continuation of relativity because Yuji and Maki did not go relative. I can demonstrate the lines line by line. We can see Maki attack Sukuna much more than Yuji does in the small time frames that they have. And then another thing is, prior to her commenting on them speeding up, we see that Maki is outperforming Sukuna while Sukuna is literally bitching Yuji, my nigga. So there is no relativity between Maki and Yuji prior to the situation and post the situation. I don't know why you brought that up, my nigga. Hold on. So let's wise up before I finish this point. But when we're talking about making an assumption on my end, I'm not making any assumptions. You were granted that it was possible, and you did not contend the reasonability. The only thing that is here currently is the question, do you have justification for your side being likely? If you make the assumption that your side is likely, I can make the assumption that my side is likely. That is just baseless claims with no evidence. I agree, we can utter anything. Jax is a low tier. Jax is a bitch. Jax is ass. Jax gets no pussy. Those are all assumptions, my nigga. Whether or not they're true is different. Do you have justification for any of those claims? Yes, I can justify Jax being a low tier currently by miking him up and then debating him. Jax, get up here. Hello, Jax. We can do the same topic that I did with Valor since Valor ran away and got slammed. Someone can end the recording of me versus Valor. I've been waiting for this. Hello, Jax. You were talking all that shit in chat. Hello, I was writing, right? We can debate the same argument. So why is it righty to say that
Hello,
Yuta
sir.
could be holding back?
Hello,
Yeah,
sir.
so
Please be quiet, sir. Calm down, sir.
why is it the case that it's writing to make the claim that Yuta could be holding back, especially if narratively Yuta is one of the strongest characters in the verse, and nobody smart or competent thinks Yuta is weaker than fucking Yuji. You have niggas like Shinra unironically running around, but guess what? Shinra's retarded. But you have smart niggas like Snail, also a Tricks, who agree that Yuta is stronger and faster than Yuji, my nigga. Yeah, what point do you want to do, Jax?
Okay,
what
so
debate?
first of all, relax. Second,
Yeah, what debate do you want to do?
yeah.
I don't have that much time.
So my understanding for like the thing that you were kind of bringing up to Valor, and I'll be honest, I was also doing math homework, so I don't really give a fuck. But yeah. I don't know why you want to debate me so bad. I say you're better than me all the time. Like
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just the fact that you're saying I'm writing, even though I just
you were ratting, bro. Come on.
Okay, what did I write with?
Okay.
And by the way, when I assault you, I obviously don't mean it.
No, yeah, no.
But anyways,
I know.
Yeah, but what did I write
okay.
with?
My understanding was you were kind of doing this weird, like, well, because you can assume your interpretation, I can assume my interpretation. But I feel like you would generally agree that, like, there is some kinds of, like, intuitions towards, like, interpretations of things that are probably going to be stronger than others based off of other actions. So, like, Valor's, like, interpretation probably would be stronger than, like, at least from what I was saying, like, because Valor mentioned this with yours, that kind of like your interpretation needed to presuppose that Yuta's faster anyway.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean-
his interpretation will have to presuppose that Yuta's not faster, but instead at the same speed. Yes,
But it's not. Wait, it's not. It's not that it was presupposing it at like quote unquote the same speed. If you're taking it at face value and you just look at what's happening, there is less assumptions in that than what you're doing because you're just looking at what happened. You're not making like a new assumption and loading it in. You're changing what would otherwise normally be seen as like what's on panel. I just don't think he was very good at arguing it. Like if you look at what Valor's saying and what you see and what you look at least, I would argue that it would be similar. But also, I'm a goon for, like, Yuji being, like, really fast and really strong. So you can just
I think he got kicked by the bot, bro.
What? What?
He got slammed by the bot, bro.
Oh, nah.
He got slammed by the bot, bro. What the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. What'd he do?
He got body slammed by the bot. Wait. Let's get him back in here.
Yeah,
He's
I
an
don't...
evil criminal.
I was gonna say, I also don't have a ton of time to argue again. I gotta lock in for this math shit. I gotta test in, like, 3 days.
Let me just get the bans and ban him.
Jack's
shit,
perm
okay.
abusing? I don't even have perms in here. I
What's
can't... I
that?
don't even think I have pick perms.
I'll just unban everybody. Okay. Someone invite him back. Someone invite him back. Ironic as fuck. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that shit happened. Okay, he's here. Get that ass banned. Dumbass boy. What's his name? Raise your hand. Is he in chat?
I don't know. I don't think he's in the stage yet.
Oh, he can't raise his hand. I see that shit. Goon. What the f- For some reason, it says he lucky. Alright, invite to speak.
Yeah, so I don't know what dick writer got mad at. I beat up their daddy Valor, but you can finish what you were saying, Jax, before
The
I got
bot
banned.
flamed your ass.
Yeah, no. All I was saying is that like at least from what I saw, you're not like presupposing that they're the same speed. It's more so that you look at it and like you observe it on the panel. It looks as though they're moving the same speed. Whereas I think with what Valor is saying is that like I mean, sure you can say in theory that like oh we're just kind of presupposing different things, but I think you would like outside of the context of a debate generally agree that like assuming that they're moving relative speed requires less assumptions than moving at
No,
like,
We
different
grant
speeds in that
they're both
panel.
moving at the same speed within that scenario. That's what we both grant because that's obviously what's occurring within the panel.
No, but like
But what I
implying
don't
that
grant
one is
whether or
holding
not
back.
Yuta is going. Hold on. What I don't grant is that Yuta is going all out because I give reasonability as to why that wouldn't follow. So when I read the series, I don't just look at the panel, but instead I look at the panel and assess what is going on. If I see
the panel
prior that
plus
he is,
context,
for example,
right?
blitzing 15-finger Sukuna, but after that he's losing the 3-finger, obviously I'm not going to take the panels at face value, but I'm going to compare the situations to a further conclusion. That's just not me looking panel to panel. Instead, I'm making a comparison to reach a conclusion.
Yeah,
Within
so
this
like my
situation,
question,
within this situation, I so happen to assess that it would be more reasonable that if Yuta was massively faster than Yuji, he would hold back due to the fighting advantages. So
Yeah,
there
if
is
he
no
was,
more,
sure, but
there
then
is
like
no more
what is?
assumptuous claim here.
But what?
Instead,
Yeah, no, but
when we talk about intuition, I think
if that was the case,
I think it will make more.
Wait, can we just
sense
like
that he
talk
wasn't
about
holding
that
back,
one? Why?
or that he was
Yeah,
holding back.
I just want to talk about the one thing though.
Wait, that's
Then,
fine,
like,
but
you
you
can
don't
say
have to
if he-
overtalk me. That's why I'm
oh,
going to continue talking whenever you try to interject me, because you're not louder than me.
So I'm not trying to be louder than you. I just think
I
it's
agree,
more.
you can be louder than me, but when you try to
Okay.
interject me when I'm speaking, I'm not going to
But
let
you
it happen,
just
obviously.
did it to me, so you don't even
Yes,
offer me
obviously,
the
because
same
I'm going to apply
courtesy.
that metric to you, of course. If you interject me, I'm
You
not going
won't
to be charitable
even,
towards
but
you.
you're not even offering me the same courtesy.
No,
You
I
don't
did
want to
offer
be
you the same
interrupted.
courtesy prior to this, but when you started interjecting me when I was speaking,
So
I'm obviously
yeah,
going to start
we just.
interjecting you when you speak.
I don't really care that much. It's not even my
Wait,
debate.
that's
We don't
fine.
have
You
to
don't
talk
have to
about
care,
it.
but if you interject me, I'm going to apply the same metric, and then
Bro.
watch how everybody in VC
Bro,
or in chat will
Infinity.
call me a spur.
When did you
do the
turn?
same
Wait,
thing.
Infinity. When did you turn into Apollo, bro? This is bad. What are you doing?
What? What are
Like,
you
why are
talking
you?
about?
You're being corny right now. Can you just
That shit is not
relax?
corny.
What do you
I'm just
mean this
applying
isn't
your same
corny?
metric.
This is some
Jack,
Apollo
if you
shit.
interject me after I let you finish, obviously I'm going to start interjecting you. What the fuck?
This is some Apollo shit, bro. Relax.
This is not
Come
Apollo
on,
shit.
chill.
Apollo can't
This
do
is
this.
this is absolutely Apollo shit, bro.
Apollo doesn't
Come
have a
on,
good mic.
chill.
He can't do this.
Okay, listen. I'm not talking about the mic. I'm just talking about like the way that you're like trying to debate goon interrupting me. Like the only other person that's done this is fucking Apollo.
I
But
am not debating about him.
oh, for
But
real?
like I said, I don't think either side is more sumptuous. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, the only thing that I'm saying is like when you're like if Yuta was way faster, like then yeah, I would agree that he probably would slow himself down to like start being at
but
Yuji's
the point
level.
is whether or not he's way faster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's like where is your line of reasoning for that? Like maybe I missed it.
I don't need to give a lot of reasoning if he's presupposing that Yuta isn't way faster. He's saying that they're relative. I don't think
What?
narratively, in my opinion, I don't think
Okay.
narratively it makes sense for you to hold on. I don't think narratively it makes sense for Yuta to be slower than Yuji or even relative to Yuji.
So that's a different argument. That's
Yeah, I
just
agree,
like
but
now
that's
we're gonna
something
talk.
external.
I was gonna. Well, no, it's not something external. That seems to be your reasoning for why you're presupposing the other to be the case. Because